Hello everyone, Banyuki here again with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about these two CRTs that I just picked up about a month ago. And I've been working on this game room for a while and I finally got it to where I want it to be. The mister helped out quite a bit. I moved my arcade cabinets back to the garage. And right now I have these two Sony 34XBR960s. These are considered like the holy grail of consumer HD CRTs, and after playing around with them for a little while, I can see why. I did have an XBR 910, which is a very similar television. I think it's a great television, and but when I was able to get both of these 960s, it was kind of a no-brainer. So I was able to pick both of these up. One of them did not have the anti-glare, it's like a film, like a plastic film. It already had it removed, and the other one I had to remove it myself. It's actually pretty simple to do. It's just a whole bunch of screws, and you just gotta peel it off. It takes some time to peel it off because it's such a thick layer. But once you get a hold of a corner, you just work the corner out, and you'll have it out within like 10, 15 minutes. You just, make sure you do it nice and slow and even. You remember it's glass you're dealing with, so you don't want to scratch it. But other than that, it was pretty simple. I did a lot of research on these two TVs and to see what people have been saying. I've gone to AVS forums to figure out what's the best way to connect these different consoles that I have. The televisions do support HDMI. They have two component inputs. They do handle video signals as low as 240p all the way up to 1080i. The TVs do run in 33 kilohertz, which is 540p/1080i at all times. So if you send it something that's 240p, it'll probably double scale it to a 540p window, and then you're looking at 40p in a 540p window. Or you'll get something like, let's say in the case of 720p, which is I think 45 kilohertz, it'll convert down to 33, and of course 40p is 31 kilohertz, and that's close enough where they just make it a bigger window. And you can kind of see when you send something in 40p and you're playing in 4:3, you'll notice the image doesn't go all the way out what the screen is showing you. So I have hooked up my consoles mostly in component. I have the Wii U that's going through component 1080i, the Xbox 360, which is on your left, that's going 1080i, and on the right I have the PS3 and 1080i, and I also have an Xbox original, which also did 1080i on certain games. A lot of people keep thinking the 360 was the first HD console. That's not really the case. The original Xbox had quite a few games that would run in 720p and 1080i. So I'm just gonna go over this for a little bit, and I picked King of Fighters 13 because it's the one game where I have on both consoles. And my TV, I don't know if it's different consoles or whatever the case, but it just looks like to me that they're very close to each other. Black levels. I mean, I can go into the service menu, and Sony has a lot of different menus. We're talking about, I believe the count was around 480. A friend of mine, he actually, got no Billy on the PlayStation. A friend of mine actually went through all the settings, and he was able to record everything. So if I want to, I don't know what these colors are, but if I want to actually, look at all the settings and try to get something back to neutral, whatever it came with, I can do that. So that was very nice of him to do that. But for what I've been reading, most people send component out. There are certain settings in here that deal with lag, and mostly everyone says send component to it. And I will say this, regarding the Xbox 360, this is going to sound strange because people are going to be like, wait a second, whoa, hold on. You go on component versus digital, blah, blah, blah. Component is an analog signal. It's YPBPR. We know this. But for some reason, I can't explain it, to me the Xbox 360 looks better on this television via component versus HDMI. I don't know why that's the case. I tried looking at the settings. I tried trying to figure it out. It's just something about the encoder on the Xbox 360. When it's sending out that YPBPR, it gets a much more saturated, richer image than it does going through HDMI. Could be the TV, Could be my component cables. I'm using the actual stock Xbox 360 cables. I don't know, but I do know that it looks better. Like I can honestly see. I was like, wow, this actually has more contrast, has more punch. I don't know why. It's just the way it is on both of the TVs. I tried it on both. Pardon me. So the TVs are great. Lag is very low, even when dealing with changing out the settings and everything. The lag does get pretty low, and I must say this television is pretty nice. I mean, motion resolution is great. I do have a PC hooked up to it to a laptop, and it has HDMI out. And what's nice is I have a splitter that does 3 input, 2 output. So basically, 3 inputs will mirror out to 2 different. So I got a splitter there. So anything that I want HDMI, I can have a head-to-head setup with the 2 screens. We've done it before a couple times on some fighting games, and it is quite nice. There's a lot of power to be using on a fighting game, but it does look good. It looks cool, and you kind of get that experience. Like, oh, but I would really like to use it for some LAN gaming where we have the 2 screens next to each other, like playing maybe Doom or Duke Nukem or anything like that, because playing FPS on these systems, on these TVs, is just amazing because you don't have that motion blur. I mean, it's just incredible, the color, the crispness of everything, and you don't have that motion blur, and you get true black on the screen. It's a really, really great looking image. And these pictures that I show here can't really do it justice. I mean, I got the lights on and everything, so you guys get a good look at it. But I mean, it looks awesome. It's just really awesome. And here's a good example of what I mean. Now, these TVs are kind of similar in color, but if you notice, the Xbox in component mode just looks so much richer in color. And another thing I noticed is that the HUDs look a little scaled a little differently. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. But these TVs are great. I can see why people go crazy over them. If people sit there, if you have a 910, I don't think it's worth the upgrade going from a 910 to a 960. I think superfine pitch is good enough. But if you are one of the people out there that don't have it, that are sitting there and like, man, I got one already. Should I get another one? Well, I've got 2. I used to have a 970. I basically gave that to a buddy of mine, and then I had the 910, and I sold it to him, and now I got these 2 960s. And these TVs are very sought after, but if you look out there, you can get them. You just have to have the room, and the nice thing about them is no one will take them away because they're about 200 pounds a piece. So I got the matching stands for each one, so that looks nice. Let's see if I can wheel this down a little so you guys can see the stands and the setup that I have here. But I mean, it's a great looking set. I personally love it very much. I mean, if I didn't have the room, I would probably be okay putting each one of these in a different room. Be like, hey, I'm gonna have this set up here, and it's really good for movies. I mean, the PS3 is on there, and you can see the stand. It just lines up really nice and looks good. But Blu-rays look fine. It does have HDCP. So you can play Blu-rays on it, and with the versatile connections of 2 component, 1 HDMI, you can pretty much get away with a lot of different consoles on this thing. We could hook up the Nintendo Switch, we could hook up the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, because that HDMI is there and it's HDCP compliant. So these screens are great. I highly recommend them, and if you have any questions or comments, or who knows, maybe you have some settings that you'd be like, hey, Steve, you should try this out. Hit me up. Anyway, guys, take care.